My 43M wife, 41F, and I have been together for over 20 years. We have 2 kids under the age of 10. About 3 years ago, we started arguing about her drinking too much. Then, I called her out for using cocaine while drinking. She promised to stop doing coke but said she liked having a drink or 2 before bed and asked me to respect that. I smoke weed at night after work to relax, so I conceded. We continued to argue occasionally about her drinking, which eventually led to a huge fight when I asked her to stop hanging out with her drug-using friend. My wife countered by accusing me of having an affair with my female best friend. I never had a physical affair with my best friend, but I admit I got too close to her when my wife's drinking and drug use escalated. You could say I had an emotional affair, but I quickly made sense of what I was feeling and didn't let it develop further. After the fight, I went to stay at my mom's for a few days, which made my wife angry. She wouldn't let me come home for about 2 months. We eventually started going to marriage counseling, and it felt like things were improving. She was still drinking, but it seemed to be limited to the evening, and our communication had gotten much better. A few months into counseling, she went on a trip to visit a friend. When she came back, she was acting suspiciously. I eventually caught her texting with some guys she met on the trip. She swore nothing physical happened and claimed she just liked the attention and was flirting. I didn't believe her and asked her to leave. She went on a 3-day cocaine and alcohol bender before admitting she had a problem. She checked into rehab the next day. About a month into rehab, I found out she was being advised to move to a sober living home instead of coming home. I was blindsided by this but agreed. She ended up at a place called 405 Recovery in Orange County, where there's apparently a sober sorority house and sober fraternity house, and everyone hooks up. I suspected she was cheating on me. She started pulling away from me and the kids for 2 months, which led to more fighting. She blamed me for hurting her recovery by pushing her to spend more time with us. Eventually, I found out my wife was having an affair with a 26-year-old guy. I caught her with him just days after her sober living program ended. Upon getting caught, she relapsed and went back to rehab. For the next few weeks, we had no contact, and I filed for divorce. She didn't contest it. My wife is now living in another sober living home and says she wants to start over and work things out. I do, too, but I can't trust her. I told her I want to learn to trust her again, but a week ago, I discovered she had still been in contact with the 26-year-old because she cares too much about his sobriety. I figured this out by checking her phone records. She admitted it but claimed she only wants to be with me. She said she was taking his calls because she didn't want him to harm himself. He eventually started stalking her, and she now swears they've cut off contact as of a week ago. I don't know what to do. I love her and want to keep our family together, but I don't trust her. Over the past 2 weeks, she has been putting more effort into communicating with the family. She FaceTimes the kids every night and sends me texts saying she loves me and is working on herself. I've seen her on Sundays when I drop off and pick up the kids for a 2-hour visitation window. Our conversations have been cordial but are starting to lean toward working things out. I kissed her the last time I saw her, and it was bittersweet. On one hand, I feel like I've been the one pushing for reconciliation. If I hadn't, she seemed almost indifferent. Now that I'm showing interest, she's trying to show love. On the other hand, I still love her, and I have my own skeletons in the closet that my wife doesn't know about. It's not like I expected her to grovel, but I guess I hoped she would fight for the marriage the way I would. But she's an addict. My oldest had a breakdown recently and reminded me that I taught him we never give up on family, even if they give up on us. My youngest physically pushes us together during pickups and drop-offs. Both kids have been in therapy for a couple of months and have said they don't want us to divorce because they don't want to spend time away from me. I don't know what to do. I'm in a bad mental state, and therapy hasn't been helping. I'm so lost. My BF and I broken up 2 weeks ago after I found him emotionally cheating on me with a girl he said it is just a friend. Just for the content, we started of our relationship in long distance since he was moving back to his country. We flew to each other when we had the chance just to spend our time together, and finally he moved back to the country where I'm at to try to make this relationship works, and at the same time, he hated here, we are both expats living in a Middle Eastern desert. I have to say he's a nice guy, showed me all love. During the breakup when he cried, I can tell he cried genuinely because of his stupidity. We talked about our future, how what our family looks like. At the same time, they were still texting. They went for a coffee date behind my back when we were doing long distance. I found them texting from a pop-up message on his laptop screen when I was sitting next to him when he was working. He told me he will stop texting her if interacting with her makes me feel uncomfortable. 3 weeks later, when I was sitting with him in front of his laptop whilst he was working, her message popped up again. I confronted but never asked to look into their messages. He said that there were some flirtatious messages between them and they were still texting each other on a daily basis after he told me he will stop interacting with her. He said she is his type comparing to me, but lol, I am a very attractive person, so I literally lol. He was the man I thought I will marry to one day, since I never loved someone like how I loved him when we were together, which hurts like hell. But then, it is his loss, since he said he won't be able to find anyone else like me loving him like this. I provided a very good apartment on my own for him since I'm earning a good salary and having a good job, but he actually earned more comparing to me. Cooked even I was exhausted after my 9 to 1900 hours days because I wanted us to be in a good health. Took him out over the weekends to get some sun even I felt like I wanted to stay in, but then he was mainly working from home at my apartment. I was worried about his mental health since he was trapped in my apartment all the time. Tried to amend my cooking to his preference since we are from different ethnicity. I felt like I compromised a lot, which I totally okay with it since there will be compromises in any relationship. But he still choose a girl who has a sugar daddy and at the same time cheating on her current boyfriend and texting my ex. I've been with my wife/GF/best friend for 12 years. I've been deceived. We've built a life together, sharing a camper, multiple vehicles, and even playlists that define us. Although we've had a pretty rock-solid relationship the past few years, there's been a history of dishonesty on her part early in our relationship. She made a mistake and swore never to repeat it. I thought we'd move past it. Today, while I was at work, she texted she'd taken an Uber home because of car trouble. Later, she texted again, admitting it wasn't an Uber, it was a guy she met online. He drove hours to pick her up and brought her back to our camper. She slept with him, our camper, our home, what we've worked hard to get. It was nice till she brought him in there. Now, I'm sitting in my car on Christmas Eve, disgusted and furious. I can't bring myself to go home because knowing he was in my house makes my skin crawl. And when does a life partner, someone you trust, just let someone waddles in there? Now he knows where I live. The kicker? She's tried to justify it by saying she's happy and safe, as if that makes it better. She even admitted to lying about the Uber, like confessing after the fact should make me feel better. Here's the thing, I don't know what to do. I don't want to throw her out on Christmas with no car and nowhere to go, but at the same time, she's the one who caused this. Why am I the one sitting out here, miserable, while she's cozy in the camper she violated? Part of me wants to leave her completely, but another part of me just wants to go back, have it out, make a big argument, get my stuff that has meaning, and move on. What do I do here? Should I leave her? Should I confront her? Should I throw her out? How do you move forward from something like this? I've already hashed it out with her over text. I'm pretty done with words for her at this point. What would you think of this story? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thanks for watching.